So for my listeners, can you kind of fill them in on a short introduction about what you do and who you are?
I've been a performer most of my life, growing up in Cincinnati, and between stage and film commercials, all of that found me early. And the book was the newest thing in my creative adventures. My book I wrote that came out this year is called The Next Contestant Is.
Now, for your book, what led to you creating it, and what do you hope people take away from it once they finish reading it?
Thank you. It's a great question. Well, the origin of it, my father, he would always say to me, it was one of these little asides, Pamela, know enough to get on a game show. And it was just one of these things he said, maybe to have information or trivia in your life or knowledge. I don't know, but it stuck with me. Long story short, moved from Cincinnati to Hollywood, California to pursue acting, which I was doing back home. And I started happenstance or a little bit of my personality. I started to get on game shows, and it was a trajectory of one after the other. So now speeding up, now it's going back maybe a little before 2012. You know how ideas, you're creative, stick with you, and it takes some time
Mhm.
to digest. Okay. There's something to be said for a seed grows. I thought I'm going to do a book about my experiences. And because I've been on a lot of game shows, more than most, I've actually, Joseph, have been myself about over 15, right? So thank you for the, not making it up. It's all in the book. Okay. But with my husband, we've been over 25. So I thought I'm going to do a book about my memories and my experiences because it was unique. And most people have been on maybe none or few or not maybe as many.
Mhm.
And I came up with the title. I don't know about you, but sometimes the title stays with me for a while. And it came to me over 10 years ago or more. The next contestant is dot, dot, dot. I'm like, ooh, okay. I guess it's my, ooh, okay. And then time went little by little. I would make notes and jot them down. And then, like you said, we had the pandemic, which
Mhm.
was very hard on people. But I started to make more notes. I also had some very supportive friends and a kind of a motivational group that kind of kept me going. And I, one thing I did do, and I can put out now, and that was a good question because you spawned me. Instead of feeling pressure of like, oh my God, I have to do all of this and write everything down, I allowed myself to do this because I was, even though I was a pretty good student in school, homework was always like, oh no, I didn't want to have that over me while I was doing this. So I allowed myself to say, even if just for today, I jot one word,
Mhm.
one sentence, that's good. I'm going to do something. And the exciting part was once I started marking down my memories of the different shows, and also give credit to my husband, William, who is an author himself, another show, another time. He said, Pamela, put down your memories, but you don't know what the book is going to become because the catalyst, the thematic was the game show world.
Mhm.
But what was exciting, once I started jotting it down and writing, more came out. And it was like, oh my God, oh my God. And the one thing I could tell your listeners and to you is like you said, and like yourself, it's just very individual. Listen to your own voice, speak from here. You're always going to a little bit edit as you go, but the best you can, allow it to flow. Oh, that was like a rhyme. Allow it to flow. And that was so exciting, Joseph. It just felt so good to let it come out. So between the game show memories and the things that I garnered from my family, my life was threaded through the book. So
Mhm.
so that is what came.
Now, out of all the game shows that you've been on, what was your favorite one? And
Ooh.
was it the characteristics of the individuals, or what was it that you
Ooh, it
enjoyed?
just got it. You're good. No, I'm serious. This is good. I feel like it's your babies, you know? And sometimes you have to remember. Um, the first thing that came to me, um, and if I can, and again, I'm not going to the whole list, but
Mhm.
the one that, you know, that stays with me for these reasons. There was a game show called Majority Rules. It was regional. I think it was in Arizona. Might have went across the country. It was on for a short period of time. But
Mhm.
what stayed with me on that, and I hope at some point when you have an opportunity that you can learn more about this as well. Um, that some game shows you have to audition. Most of them you do either an open call or an individual interview. On this show, I think I might have went to some type of call where they wanted me in the audience to start with. Excuse me. Some shows where they have the audience and then you
Hmm.
get picked from there. With this show, it was being picked to be one of the four contestants on that stage. And there was probably Joseph in the audience. Again, I'm going to go between 100 to 200, give or take. Okay. And I had to answer a survey question. Now, when there were two hosts at the time, were asking the questions, everybody was like, pick me, pick me, pick me. Lot of noise, right? Chatter.
Hmm.
My little voice, and I'm also a poker player, so it lends to that. It's all in the book. Um, I was smiling, try to do that, even when I'm on and off camera. um, and I just knew if everyone's going like this, I'm going to go like this. I kept eye contact like we're doing, and it was Arthel Neville, and she came right up to me. It was almost like synergy. So it was like this, and
Hmm.
then we had name tags, and she goes Pamela, and I'm like, and the idea, the dynamic that I got myself to that stage because of things that I inherently had or my experiences that made me me
Hmm.
was a really exciting thing. So that dynamic of doing something that gravitates to me and from what I've learned from it worked for me in this majority rules case. I can go on, but that specific reason was one of the things that stands out to me about that particular game show and what I did to get there and what I wrote about in my book, The Next Contestant Is.
And it's so important to make sure that you have a unique stance on whatever you do so you
Yeah,
stand out. Because if you're trying to be just like everyone else, no matter how loud it is, it's
I
not going to
love
get
it.
there.
No, oh my God, we were meant to talk and meet someday. Yes, no, my high school quote in Cincinnati at Walnut Hills High School, great school though, as well, was enough of carbon copies, let's be individuals. So my thinking, I think, always was like that. It's not that you don't flavor your world to different people, that part of your
Hmm.
personality, but that piece of you that you don't want to lose or you mature, but also you mature. It's like morphine, you
Hmm.
just kind of marinate yourself. I totally agree with because there's only one you, unique you. It's not cheesy. Oh, there's no rhyme. I'm sorry. There you go. Here's a bumper sticker. It's true. So I totally agree with you, Joseph. It seems like that's what you've done as well with what you're doing, that you're just being yourself and putting yourself out there.
Yes.
I've enjoyed your other podcasts as well and your
Thank you.
videos. Welcome.
Now, can you break down where people can find you and if they are interested in either connecting with you, how they can do so?
Absolutely. Thank you so much for asking. My website, first of all, is Pamela Hill, PAMELAHILL.net, PamelaHill.net, www, of course. And if they're interested in the book, and again, I think it's just about life and kindness, as you see behind me and game shows. It's in my voice. And some of the nicest things that have happened is some of the reviews that have come in. Again, not expected, but very exciting. And it makes me so happy that people are brought along on the journey with me. So if you want to go on the journey with me, you can, the next contestant is by Pamela and me. It's on Amazon. It is in paperback and it's on Kindle and currently recorded in my studio apartment, our home studio. I just recorded the audiobook, which bless my husband, week of Sundays, that will be good to go and up. So you can get that on Amazon right now, the paperback and the Kindle and soon to be audiobook. And my website will link if people want to make comments or stay in touch. And I just so appreciate that. That's really important. I think it's a win-win to get to know the people who
Mhm.
support you, and then you can support them, like meeting you from our connection on LinkedIn, which was like amazing and so appreciated. I so appreciate that.
Likewise. Now, for your audio book section, is that going to
Yes.
be your voice or is that going to be someone else's?
Yes, that's a great question. Just technically speaking, most audiobooks, hopefully, if can be, are narrated by the author. The cool thing, and again, it's part of my thing that I do along with acting. I
Mhm.
narrate a lot. I grew up again, little bits in the book. reading out loud, I loved it. It just found me early. So that's a good thing. It was a perfect, like you say, marriage.
Mhm.
I love to narrate. So getting to have the book where a lot of people narrate their own book and also be a narrator was really exciting. And I told my hubby, William, I knocked it out in one day. I said I was excited to do it. It was still a
Mhm.
lot to tackle, but we just said, let's go. Okay, chapter 2, chapter 3. So with his help, yeah. And I did narrate it. And my husband was very lovely enough. He surprised me. He wrote my forward, but he recorded his forward on the book. So it's his his voice, and then it's my voice. So
And that's so important when it comes to your own experiences that someone else isn't talking about them, but it's actually coming from the individual that lived
right.
it.
That's such a good point because you would understand this being someone who asks the questions and tells your own stories and creates that is it's funny. It's a feeling you get when you hear someone say it from their own person.
Mhm.
A person I think can experience it. There's just a synergy to the voice or an energy that comes that you could feel it differently. And I mean, it still can be great with someone else narrating, but there's something that just the person communicating it feels that hopefully will be transferred to the person, to the listener. And
Right.
it's your story. Like, okay, I hope, yeah, it's yeah.
Now, throughout your career, you encountered various obstacles. How did you overcome those, and where did you find inspiration when things were challenging?
Oh, another good question. Um, well, it's the first thing that I thought of, and again, maybe it colors my world. I'm not trying to hit you with head kindness. Um, I think it doesn't matter off or on camera. That should be a part of your life. It doesn't mean that every moment is like, I think when you have the challenges, aside from being kind to others and kind to yourself, is being supportive of other people. So if you're having a challenge, sometimes in that moment, it's good to take a pause
Mhm.
and just maybe refocus, but focus on someone else. And I like being a cheerleader anyways. So that part's easy. Another part to my life is I'm Jewish, but I'm not religious. I'm spiritual, and I'm not taking away from what everybody is. I just think a lot of it's character based and heart based. That's just how I am. My spirituality is really important to me. Is kind of taking a moment and just relax myself. I do yoga, I meditate, I like listening to music, and just slowing down, doing something I love, be it cooking or arts and crafts, puzzles. Just kind of, it's kind of like my zen place. So when everything's busy, you're like, oh, how's it doing? I got to create. I got to do. Just taking it slower. I'm also a Capricorn, so I kind of I'm into astrology, step by step. I love this quote recently, Joseph. I'll share with you
Mhm.
and the listeners. Sometimes you take a step at a time and not the whole staircase. And works for me. It's like the book. Sometimes it could be a word, a sentence, but just I keep going. So a little bit of all those ingredients are the way that I deal with challenges and just, with or being with friends or family or doing something fun. So, or laughing.
No, but that's so important to make sure that
Thank
you
you.
take the first step because
Yeah.
that's sometimes the hardest. And when
Yes.
things are sometimes dark, you don't know how to get through something. So even just taking a simple step can lead to so much.
You just touched me. No, I totally no, that was perfectly said. So what Joseph just said. It's perfect.
Now, for when it comes to that darn girlfriend, what was the story
Oh,
behind that?
thank you. Oh, you do your homework. That was so sweet. I appreciate. Um, that Darn Girlfriend is a web series that my husband and I do. It's been up since around, wow, life goes fast, 2015. It's a kitschy web series that's kind of based around the 60s, 70s energy. So if you think of a Dream of Genie or a Bewitched,
Mhm.
um, it's short and sweet, about 2 minutes, 2 seconds. I play Valerie and he plays Vic. It's just the two of us. Bill did a lot of filmmaking in Hawaii, so he knows all of that stuff. If you think about a comic strip with
Mhm.
4 panels, it's a round of funny. So you have to hopefully in the episode, which is 2 minutes, 2 seconds, with some outtakes, which people even love more. Like, oh, look at them, they're challenged at the moment. That has to be in there, the funny, and then you create with it and around it. And they can find our web series, That Darn Girlfriend. That's on YouTube, and it's in our production company. Joseph, thank you for asking. Is For Scorpio Productions, and we have a YouTube channel. And with other projects we've done or shorts, That Darn Girlfriend has gotten a nice following, and it's fun. And as I say this funny thing, you got to have fun.
Mhm.
It's not like every piece of it, the moment is like, oh my god, it's work. But if it's not fun, I was directed, but the director once said, don't, why do it? And I don't mean everything has to be, oh my god, fun. I
Mhm.
don't mean that. You enjoy it, because honestly, one thing is acting, but if you're, this is very esoteric, but if it will come through if you look like you're forcing it, and it has to be enjoyable, and it will read, hopefully. And then people are like, oh, okay. So, anyways, that's, and the web series, one last thing, came across, this was longer than 15 years ago. I made up a song, a little
Mhm.
rant about relationships, and the song stayed in my head for 15 years.
Oh, wow.
Yep. And That Darn Girlfriend, it's on the pilot episode. It's very short and sweet. And I thought, oh, it gave, I can do, there's something we can do with this. It's very kitschy. It was this kind of like mod, do to do. And so that, as you know, one little thing goes, oh, oh, oh. And that's what happened. You listen to those seeds like you're
Mhm.
doing now with your show.
Thank you. Now
Yeah.
for the show, when does it usually air and when was the next season or episode gonna come out?
Thank you. Oh my God, you're so sweet. Okay. Um, we tried to get them out since 2015 every couple months, but like a season of television, this isn't always the case. Life gets in the way, projects and books and life and family, all the other good things of your pie.
Mhm.
Um, so, but our plan is always to do them. Also, what's very important, you want the thought to be organic. You don't want to press it. I just know when it's been time, like, oh, I hope something comes to me. So we've gotten ideas from television shows we used to watch. We've gotten it from our own experiences. For example, when my husband takes a nap occasionally, not all the time, Pamela, the wife, will be up to something, not terrible things, but something funny, like, oh, I have to tell you something. So we thought that's really ridiculous. While you were napping was our latest one we did, which was shot in June. It had been a while since we did it because I was promoting Next Contestant Is, but we
Mhm.
knew we still wanted to do it. And I would tell you, or Anna, your listeners, is that when we have an idea, which is kind of funny and kind of at the same time, like, we will stop what we're doing. I've been at concerts before the concert started, having a picnic and written an idea on a paper plate,
Oh, wow.
because you don't know when they're going to come. And as long as I have the main thing of it,
Mhm.
I don't want to forget that. So on YouTube, we're in season 3, and I believe this was episode 5. And we just I think by this time it airs, it'll be out. We just found out one of our episodes we did a few months ago, Starlight Star Bright, is going to be in the We Make Movies International Film Festival. We were accepted, and that was really cool. And they've been very supportive. It's our film group,
Mhm.
um, but so they can watch it on YouTube. And we just try to keep going with it. But season 3, and so about 27 episodes, Joseph. I believe one blooper reel,
Oh, wow.
which is fine because they just like it. It's just ridiculous. So you have to laugh at yourself, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And a couple of behind the scenes, which like yourself, you just kind of like, oh, let's, the people who are more into that, like, oh, why did you do this?
Mhm.
Or why did you do it this way or create this? Or why did you use this prop? And my husband Bill does a lot of visual effects. So as like yourself, the show grows, what you can do, or vice versa, as you grow in your experiences,
Mhm.
your creations grow. And that's been exciting.
Because you never know what's gonna come about in a week or a month or anything like that.
No, no. And even the characters you could hear. Again, I'm just throwing this out because it's one of my favorites. Oh, um, do you ever watch Friends or
Yes.
yes, okay. So one of my favorite shows. It's just my go-to show. It's just joyful and it's fun. Um, the thing I appreciate about the characters, the writing is that they have callbacks to things. You know that. So not forcing it. It's
Hmm.
interesting with Valerie, me, and he's not my husband in the show, Vic, my boyfriend. Um, we have callbacks, but it wasn't forced. It was just certain phrasing that we've said,
Hmm.
and I think you get a kick out of it. And it just comes out. So we're like, oh, that's or a rhythm. And really interesting, just what you just said, as it grows, you don't know what's going to happen. One of the episodes, nothing is like it again, it's all PG. It's
Hmm.
I don't mean that trying to be sound funny there, but one of the episodes, even though it's lighthearted and a little goofy, a little fantasy like Valerie is capable of doing like really fun things nobody could thinking things, kind of like my life sometimes. Um, it was a little bit more bittersweet.
Hmm.
And we didn't plan that, but it worked. It wasn't like, oh, we have to make it la la la. We just be true to the character. Just be true and whatever, and it's a balance, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, the last two things that I want to leave my listeners with is
Oh, thank
one
you.
is what advice would you give to individuals that want to be in film, that want to act, that want to be creatives, but they're not sure how to go about it?
Uh-huh.
And then the next one is what are you looking forward to in the future?
Ooh, God, you're really good. Oh my gosh. Okay. I don't want to lead anybody
Thank you.
astray. You're welcome. Thank you. This is great. I would think organically, aside from having that feeling inside, let's just start there. Let's say
Mhm.
you because you brought that up and it's somebody who's going, oh, I have a feeling to do this. I want to write, I want to create. You can do that anywhere, meaning you can always be creative wherever you're at, even if it was a group of friends to read plays out loud, even reading out loud, um, creating your own art, whatever speaks to you, just keep doing that. And relationships.
Mhm.
Relationships are very important, like we're having now. And I mean that in the loveliest way. I was on LinkedIn. I use it sometimes, but when this happened with my book and other projects, and again, I would tell listeners this: if there's something that you have, it's the relationships you build, not just on LinkedIn, anywhere in life. So if you were out somewhere and the person goes, "Oh, I wanted to get more into acting," and they met someone who might have done theater already,
Mhm.
they build a relationship with that person. Letting the main thing is letting you be seen. There's another quote: let your self, not yourself, be seen, like who you are. That's going to stand out. So when you have those relationships, people want to connect with you. Keep reading, learning your art. And if there is, and I did a lot of community theater, if it's an acting thing in Cincinnati,
Mhm.
regionally, just get your feet wet. And another thing, don't, and again, I don't know if this is adding to the thing, but this is coming out and you ask great questions. There's
Thank you.
no, you're welcome. You're so sweet. There's no small performers or actors or creators. Everyone sometimes are so hung up like, oh, how much do I have here, a line or this or that? Just add value.
Mhm.
Not only are you doing it for them, you're doing it for yourself. No, it's important. Even if it's something you just created and you write, I make greeting cards, I just have fun. Whatever it is, give back, make someone happy. Just put time into it. Even if you write an email or a letter, old snail mail, that's a way of being creative. Just creating who you are and putting that out there is being creative, and it stirs you. And then you just keep growing and building and go, oh, let me try this, let me get my feet wet, let me see if there's a class, let me meet with some friends. um and your next question was, what do I want to for, can you re-ask it? I'd like to hear it your way again, the last question, it
Yes.
was so great.
What do you look forward to in the future?
continued happiness. Okay, scene. Um, just continuing, God willing, to do what I love,
Mhm.
having my husband, who I love very much, obviously this journey with me. My family and friends are very important to me. My niece, that includes my nieces and nephews, sister, and people who are looking up me from heaven. Just continuing to do what I love and doing the best with it, and continuing to do better as myself, as a person running around here, and in my professional life, and just learning every day something, and just taking a moment to keep listening to that little voice of mine, and hopefully just create great work where people will respond. And I think step by step, hopefully it will unfold the best way, where if I have more abundance as I go, it's not just financially but spiritually, that I will continue, even as I do hopefully now, I will give back. I
Mhm.
think it's cyclical, and just see where that goes. It's a domino. So
I was listening to the Gardone podcast, and
yes.
in that episode, the recent one with Steve Harvey, is talking about how individuals have gifts, but it's so important to, once you get to a certain stage, to give back to those that are still trying to figure it out.
Goosebumps. Yes, I definitely believe that. I get it. It sounds like you get it, and hopefully others will allow themselves to feel and get that too. I think that is really one of the that yeah, a very important thing in life. Yes.
Thank you again for allowing me to interview you.
Oh, thank you. This was so great. I appreciate your time, and best of luck with everything. And we'll stay connected. Thanks so much, Joseph. This was wonderful.
Thank
Congratulations
you.
on your podcast. Okay.
Have a great weekend.
You too. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.